This Pride and Prejudice from 2005. So this was the movie. I don't know much about this movie, so I'm going in blind. Seems like a peaceful village. And just playing the piano.
Lydia, Lily.
So this like in the ideas, the dress are quite different.
Have you heard? Netherfield Park is let at last. Want to know who has taken it?
As you wish to tell me, my...
Someone's taking someone's land.
What have I told you about listening at the door? Never mind that. Thirsty.
Okay.
How can you be so tiresome? You know he must marry one of them. You must go and visit him at once.
Good heavens.
Listening, you never listen. You must, Papa. At once.
No need. I already have.
Oh, Mr. Bennet, how can you tease me so? Have you no compassion for my poor nurse?
Who? Is he handsome?
Who? He's sure to be handsome.
With 5,000 a year, it would not matter if he had warts and a leer.
Who's got what?
So will he come to the ball tomorrow, Papa?
I believe so.
Okay. It's coming down.
You're mending for a week.
Okay, they're very excited. Seems pretty wealthy. And there's a party.
Not every man in the room does not end the evening in love with you, that I have no judge of beauty.
All men, Lizzie, someone will catch your eye and then you'll have to watch your tongue.
One stops. Is it a man?
How good of you to come.
Well, he's on the right, and on the left is his sister. It's miserable, poor soul. Miserable, you mean?
Miserable.
Oh, he most certainly is not. Tell me, 10,000 a year.
10,000 pounds a year is probably a lot at that time. It continues.
Listen to the girls. Immediate.
Okay, they're going to introduce them to him.
Bennett, Miss Jane Bennett, Elizabeth, and Miss Mary Bennett.
Delighted to make your acquaintance.
How do you like it here in Hertfordshire, Mr. Bingley?
Very much. Fills me with guilt. Not a very good reading yet. Burbing out, I mean, I can read, of course, and you can't read out of doors.
Okay, you have to explain yourself.
So many other things to do.
Yes, that's exactly what I meant.
The regiment are coming. Officers.
Residents.
Oh, Winter. Please, the minister's right there. Jane's dancing with Mr. Bingley. Will you dance, Mr. Darcy?
Not if I can help it.
I didn't know you were coming to see me. What's the matter?
Never seen so many.
Seems pretty reserved.
But her sister Elizabeth is very agreeable.
Perfectly tolerable, I dare say. Not handsome enough to tempt me.
Not handsome enough.
If he liked you, you'd have to talk to him.
I wouldn't dance with him for all of Derbyshire, let alone the miserable half.
Lady dancer, she was. She's not more handsome.
Mama?
Oh, but Lizzie will never admit that she's plain. When she was only 15, there was a gentleman so much in love.
What's he doing?
Very pretty verses.
And that put paid to it discovered the power of poetry in driving away love. If it is only a vague inclination, I'm convinced one poor sonnet will kill it stone dead.
So what do you recommend to encourage affection?
Dancing, even if one's partner is barely tolerable.
That's smart.
Mr. Bingley is just what a young man ought to be. Perfectly well, I do not believe marriage should be driven by thoughts of money.
He danced with you most of the night and stared at you for the rest of it. Now, you're a great deal too apt to like people in general, you know.
Sing the song.
Oh, I still can't believe what he said about you.
Mr. Darcy, his vanity had he not wounded mine.
She's not more handsome. There's a spinster in the making and no mistake.
If he'd had any compassion from me, he would have sprained his ankle on the first set.
Without a roof over their head, nor a penny to their name.
Oh, Mama, please, it's 10 in the morning.
From Netherfield Hall. Praise the Lord.
Later.
Oh, happy day.
She has invited me to dine with her.
Dining out?
Can I take the carriage?
Where? Let me see that.
It is too far to walk.
Mama, the carriage for Jane.
Certainly not.
No? Why?
Horseback?
Really? Never in that end.
Stay the night, exactly as I predicted.
So I don't think, Mama, you can reasonably take credit for making it rain. Returning home and
She's going to be sick.
do not be alarmed, excepting a sore throat, a fever, and a headache.
There.
Oh, it was in pursuit of Mr. Bingley.
People do not die of cold.
Such a mother.
Okay, he's going to Netherfield.
Apparently, Lady...
Miss Elizabeth Bennet.
Good Lord.
Lord, Miss Elizabeth, did you walk here?
I did.
She came back walking
I'm so sorry. How is my sister?
She's upstairs.
upstairs.
Thank you.
Lead her to her. They're not saying anything there.
6 inches deep in mud. She looked positively medieval.
Who are you?
Terry is in far better comfort here than she would have been at home.
It's a pleasure. Sorry, not a pleasure that she's ill, of course not. It's a pleasure that she's here.
Acrobat, not related to the learned pig of Norwich.
He's half in love with her already.
Who is Blossom?
Mr. Bingley. He has more than enough for the two of them.
Calling for officers.
How many letters you must have occasion to write, Mr. Darcy? Tell your sister that I long to see her.
I've already told her once my desire.
I do dote on her.
How they design the room there.
Well, I think it's amazing you young ladies have the patience to be so accomplished. Play the piano and embroider cushions.
The word is indeed applied too liberally. Half a dozen women in all my acquaintance that are truly accomplished.
Nor I
Really?
have to be thorough knowledge of music, singing, drawing, dancing, and the modern languages to deserve the word.
Mind by extensive reading.
I'm no longer surprised at your knowing only 6 accomplishments. I'd rather only be a fearsome thing to behold.
After sitting so long in one attitude.
You can only have two motives, Caroline, and I would interfere with either.
The first way of disappointing him will be to ask him nothing about it.
Secret affairs to discuss, or you are conscious that your figures appear to the greatest advantage by walking.
Could always laugh at him.
Oh no, Mr. Darcy is not to be teased.
You're too proud, Mr. Darcy.
Really?
We're doing our best to find fault in you.
It's that I find it hard to forgive the follies and vices of others.
What a shame, for I dearly love to laugh.
A family trait, I think.
A Mrs. Bennet, a Miss Bennet, a Miss Bennet, and a Miss Bennet.
To receive every Bennet in the country.
They're poor here.
Expensive furnishing.
The country very diverting.
I find it perfectly adequate.
Yeah, they got it, really.
True that you have promised to hold a ball here at Netherfield.
A ball?
It would be an excellent way to meet new friends.
Do hold a ball, Kitty.
It would be better if conversation, instead of dancing, were the order of the day.
There's no house to equal it in the county.
Bingley, I don't know how to thank you.
You're welcome any time you feel the least bit poorly.
Most instructive.
Not at all. Pleasure is all mine.
Mr. Darcy.
Miss Elizabeth?
Interesting.
How did you see him? He looked right at Mrs.
My dear, you've ordered a good dinner today.
And my piano store belongs to Mr. Collins. When?
He may turn us out of the house as soon as he pleases. State passes directly to him and not to us.
Who's that guy?
What excellent boiled potatoes. Many years since I've had such an exemplary vegetable. I'm very pleased the estate can afford such a living. Covers my patroness, Lady Catherine de Bourgh. You've heard of her, I presume. Condescends to drive by my humble dwelling in her little phaeton and ponies. Her daughter seemed born to be a duchess, for she has all the superior graces of elevated rank.
Attentions proceed from the impulse of the moment, or are they the result of previous study?
They arise chiefly from what is. I always wish to give them as unstudied an air as possible.
Oh, one would suspect your manners to be rehearsed.
Yeah.
To dinner, I thought I might read to you all for an hour or two.
Read to you.
Been bestowed by the good grace of Lady Catherine de Bourgh. I find a mistress for it. Miss Bennet has captured my special attention.
Miss Bennet is very soon to be
Yes, there we go.
Lizzie next to her in both age and beauty. What an excellent partner.
Lizzie.
Very agreeable alternative.
This guy.
The man who makes you despair of the entire sex.
Yours, I believe.
Perfect you are.
Picked up my handkerchief too. Did you drop yours on purpose, Lizzie?
Happen to be looking for some ribbon.
White with a ball.
Shall we all look for some ribbon together? Did I have very poor taste in ribbons?
Only a man truly confident of himself would admit to that.
No, it's true.
Shame of the regiment.
What laughing stock?
What do your superiors do with you?
I'm of next to no importance, so it's easily done.
Give me some money.
You already owe me a fortune, Lydia.
To Wickham, please.
Okay, good one. Seems like they have a connection already.
Mr. Bingley, how do you like my ribbons for your ball? Do I ought to invite Mr. Wickham? He is a credit to his profession.
Lydia, you can't invite...
Of course, you must come, Mr. Wickham.
It's disagreeable. I guess you personally know him.
Netherfield ball then, Mr. Wickham?
Perhaps.
Okay.
But are you acquainted with him?
Indeed, I've been connected with his family since infancy.
Your plans in favour of Meryton will not be affected by your relations with the gentleman.
He wishes to avoid seeing me, he must go. Not I.
My father managed his estate. His father treated me like a second son. We were both with him the day he died.
Okay.
With me the rectory in his estate. Darcy ignored his wishes and gave the living to another man. Jealousy.
Jealous. Not a good guy.
Willie loved me better and Darcy couldn't stand it. I'm a poor foot soldier. Too lowly even to be noticed.
Yeah.
Breathe in. Oh, you're hurting.
I think that in Gone with the Winter, you have to breathe in. Yes.
Oh, Jane, do you never think ill of anybody?
Well, how could Mr. Darcy do such a thing?
Really? She didn't believe.
If it is not true, let Mr. Darcy contradict it himself. On the contrary, Wickham is twice the man Darcy is.
And let us hope a rather more willing dancer.
Darcy, what an immense pleasure it is to see you again.
I'm so pleased you're here. Miss Elizabeth,
Hmm.
are you looking for someone?
Yeah, Pastor was just looking for someone. Have the shots in this one. Very well done. Still one shot. Yes, reminds you of the Good Palace.
Mr. Wickham is not here. Apparently he's been detained.
There you are.
Okay, this guy's coming.
Will do me the honour, Miss Elizabeth.
I did not think you danced, Mr. Collins.
Ladyship included have complimented me on my lightness of foot.
He's still looking for someone. That guy.
To be sure, dancing is of little consequence to me, but it does opportunity to lavish
Yeah, he's trying to speak.
delicate attentions, which is my...
But not for the...
to remain close to you throughout the evening.
Yeah. What does he want?
Next dance, Miss Elizabeth.
Did I just agree to dance with Mr. Darcy?
Ah.
I dare say you will find him very...
If you want something like her, that's a soldier going to see them dance it together.
It's your turn to say something, Mr. Darcy. Talked about the dance. Now you ought to remark on the size of the room or the number of couples.
I may observe that private balls are much pleasanter than public ones. Now we may remain silent.
You talk as a rule while dancing?
No, I prefer to be unsociable and taciturn. But also much more enjoyable.
Tell me, do you and your sisters very often walk to Meryton?
Great opportunity to meet new people. In fact, when you met us, we just had the pleasure of forming a new acquaintance.
He's capable of retaining them is less so.
He's been so unfortunate as to lose your friendship. A reversible event.
It is. Why do you ask such a question?
To make out your character, Mr. Hear such different accounts of you has puzzled me exceedingly.
Afford you more clarity in the future.
The music.
I must make myself known to him immediately.
But,
He's the
sir-
nephew of my esteemed patroness.
Collins, he will consider it an impertinence.
Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy.
What interesting
I think one. Oh, who is this guy who was interfering?
My dear, you have delighted us long enough. And the other young ladies have a turn.
Of course.
He likes her very much.
But does she like him? You of us who are secure enough to be really in love without proper encouragement.
He's just shy and modest. If you cannot perceive her regard, he is a fool.
He does not know her character as we do. Plenty of time for us to get to know them after the match.
After we met her.
I'm awfully sorry.
The salon. Have the lighting to it captures the sadness.
We'll be having a wedding here at Netherfield in less than 3 months.
Thank you, Mr. Hill.
He's still there.
I was hoping, if it would not trouble you, that I might solicit a private audience with Miss Elizabeth in the course of the...
Indeed. Everyone out.
Right.
Mr. Collins would
You have nothing to say to me that anybody need not hear.
No nonsense, Lizzie. I'd everyone else to the drawing room.
Oh, great.
Jane? Jane.
You can. Yes, you have to talk it out. I mean, you're disturbing all of the...
Dear Miss Elizabeth,
What is...
I singled you out as the companion of my future life. I may state my reasons for marrying. Firstly, that it is the duty of a clergyman
Great.
to
He
second...
didn't even know her well.
Convince the urging of my esteemed patroness, Lady Catherine, choose such a one from among Mr. Bennet's daughters. An alliance will surely suit everyone. Animated language of the violence of my affections.
Mr. Collins.
And that no reproach.
You hasty, sir. You forget that I have given no
Hmm.
answer. I am honoured by your proposal, but I regret that I must decline it.
Decline.
Too easy.
Mr. Collins, I am perfectly serious.
You could not
This
make
guy
me
is
happy,
weird.
and I'm convinced I'm the last woman in the world who could make you happy.
Manifold attractions, it's by no means certain that another offer of marriage may ever be made to you.
Mr. Collins.
Mishmash of elegant female.
Sir.
This guy's
I
crazy.
am not the Please understand me. I cannot accept you.
Laughing.
Foolish child. Have Mr. Willie come down immediately.
Really. Just run away.
Come and make Lizzie marry Mr. Collins. Collins has proposed to Lizzie, but she vows she will not. Collins may not have Lizzie.
What am I to do?
Yeah.
Talk to now.
I mean, she wants to do what she wants.
And save your sisters from destitution.
I can't.
Go back now. Your family.
You cannot make me.
Mr. Bennett, say something.
Marrying Mr. Collins.
Yes.
They
You'll
plan.
never see her again. Who will maintain you when your father is dead?
Your mother will never see you again. I will never see you again if you do.
Oh, great.
Bennett. Thank you, Papa. Ungrateful child. Complaints but have no pleasure in talking to anybody.
What's the matter?
Later. I don't know what's going on.
Why would he not know when he was to return?
Read it, I don't mind.
Darcy is impatient to see his sister, and we are scarcely less eager to meet her again. As her equal for beauty, elegance, and accomplishment. So much so, I must hope to hear after that her brother is in love with you.
And it's far more likely that he does not love me and never has.
He loves you, Jane. Do not give up. Let it be known you are there, and I am sure he will come to you.
My love to my sister, and try not to be a burden, dear.
A girl likes to be crossed in love now and then.
That will cheer her up, Papa.
Well, it's your turn now, Lizzie. What about Mr. Wickham? Then he's a pleasant
Wickham.
fellow and he'd do the job credibly.
What's that?
Charlotte, my dear Lizzie. Mr.
Daniels.
Collins and I are engaged.
Engaged? Yes. To be married?
Yes, of course, Lizzie. What other kind of engaged is there? The reason why I shouldn't be as happy with him as any other.
But he's ridiculous.
Oh, hush. All of us can afford to be romantic.
This man for money.
I'm 27 years old. I'm already a burden to my parents. So don't judge me, Lizzie. Don't you dare judge me.
Thank you for your letter. Furniture and roads are all to your taste, and that Lady Catherine's behaviour is friendly and obliging. And the militia to the north with the colourful Mr. Wickham. For the favour you ask, it is no favour at all. I would be happy to visit you at your earliest convenience.
Out of bounds, found a line walk.
Yeah, he's still talking.
Yes, I flatter myself that...
Be disturbed here. This parlour is for my own particular use. Such a pleasure to run my own home. Oh, it's Lady Catherine. Come and see Lizzie.
We've received an invitation to visit Rosings this evening from Lady Catherine de Bourgh.
How wonderful. Just put on whatever you've brought that's best.
Lady Catherine's never been averse to the truly humble.
Loan costs upwards of £20,000.
Mr. Berg.
Hello, artworks.
This is my daughter. It's very kind of you to ask
Rugby
us
loan
tonight,
cost
Lady
upwards of
Catherine.
£300.
You have to explain everything.
What are you doing here?
What's he doing?
You know my nephew?
Yes, Mum. I had the pleasure of meeting your nephew in Hertfordshire.
You can't sit next to your wife. Move. Over there.
Best friends. Maybe it's planned that way. To be next to him.
Trust your family is in good health, Miss Elizabeth.
They are, thank you. In London, perhaps you happen to see her there.
I haven't been fortunate enough, no.
Play the piano forte, Miss Bennet.
Little, Mum, and very poorly.
Draw?
No, not at all. Not one.
It's very strange.
What?
Your mother should have taken you to town every spring for the benefit of the masters.
I'm sure my mother
Well.
would have...
Your governess left you?
We never had a governor.
A governance.
5 daughters brought up at home without a governess. I never heard such a slave to your education.
Not at all, Lady.
Yeah, this Lady Catherine seems like Bishop's here.
Are they out in society?
Yes, Mum, all.
All? Would all 5 out at once? The youngest sisters must be very young.
Yes, my youngest is not 16. Does not to have their share of amusement because the elder is still unmarried.
My word, you give your opinion very decidedly for so young a person.
The younger sister's grown up. Your ladyship can hardly expect me to own to it.
Better.
Come, Miss Bennet, and play for us. Few people in England who have more true enjoyment of music than myself.
Really? So he's just like everyone there.
Catherine, I'm not afflicted with false modesty. When I say I play poorly...
Come, Lizzie.
So she's pausing basically.
She plays very well.
I hope she practices. No excellence can be acquired without constant practice.
To frighten me, Mr. Darcy, by coming in all your state to hear me.
Well enough acquainted with you, Miss Elizabeth, to know that I cannot alarm you even should I wish it.
Last time I saw him at the assembly, he danced with nobody at all. Even though gentlemen were scarce and there was more than one young lady sitting down without a partner, nobody can be introduced in a ballroom.
Fitzwilliam, I need you.
Do not have the talent of conversing easily with people I have never met before.
Your aunt's advice and practice. Jane.
The piano is still pretty good.
Mr. Darcy, please do be seated.
Why is he in panic?
I'm afraid Mr. and Mrs. Collins have gone on business to the village.
This is a charming house.
Could not have bestowed her kindness on a more grateful subject. Shall I call for some tea?
No, thank you. Good day.
Yeah, someone's coming.
What have you done to poor Mr. Darcy?
I have now principally in view those objects which are only to be obtained through intercourse. Forgive me, through the intercourse of friendship.
Okay.
So how long do you plan to stay in Kent, Colonel?
As long as Darcy chooses. Darcy is a most loyal companion. He came to the rescue of one of his friends just in time. Saved the man from an imprudent. His closest friend, Charles Bingley. Apparently strong objections to the lady. I think it was a family that was considered unsuitable.
So he separated them?
I believe so.
Miss Elizabeth, I came to Rosings with the single object of seeing you. I had to see you. I have fought against my better judgment, my family's expectation, and my agony.
I don't understand.
I love you.
She admits it.
Please do me the honor of accepting my hand.
I appreciate the struggle you have been through, and I am very sorry to have caused you pain. Believe me, it was unconsciously done.
You're going to say no?
Yes, no.
Are you rejecting me? Endeavour at civility, I am less repulsed.
And I might as well inquire why, with so evident a design of insulting me, you chose to tell me that you like me against your better judgment.
No, believe me,
A man who has ruined, perhaps forever, the happiness of a most beloved sister. Do you deny it, Mr.
She
Darcy?
knows.
Separated a young couple who loved each other, exposing your friend and involving them both in misery of the acutest kind.
I do not deny it, because I believed your sister indifferent to him.
Indifferent?
I watched her
Indifferent.
care deeper than hers.
That's because she's shy.
I did it for his own good.
My sister hardly shows her true feelings to me. Fortune had some
No,
bearing
I
on
wouldn't
the
be your
matter.
sister the dishonor, though it was suggested.
What was?
It was made marriage.
Did my sister give that impression?
No.
Our want of connection. Mr. Bingley didn't seem to vex
No, it was
himself
more
about
than
that.
Acceptance.
Mother, your three younger sisters, Mr. Wickham.
What excuse can you give for your behaviour towards him? You ruin his chances, and yet you treat him with sarcasm.
So this is your opinion of me. Perhaps these offences might have been overlooked had not your pride been hurt by my honesty in admitting scruples about our relationship of your circumstances.
And those are the words of a gentleman. Your arrogance and conceit, your selfish disdain for the feelings of others, made me realise never be prevailed upon to marry.
There's some hard words.
Forgive me for taking up so much of your time.
There was some amazing acting scene. After tension.
I came to leave you this.
Later.
I shall not renew the sentiments which were so disgusting to you. I will address the two offences you have laid against me. Consequence, he left him a generous living. Wickham announced he had no intention of taking orders. Demanded the value of the living which he was given, which he gambled away within weeks. Demanding more money, which I refused. Came back to see us last summer, at which point he declared passionate love for my sister, who eloped with him.
What?
Made clear he would never receive a penny of that inheritance. He disappeared. She was 15 years old. But the motives which governed me may to you appear insufficient. They were in the service of a friend.
Is he? Fortunate you have arrived. Your aunt and uncle are here to deliver Jane from London.
You passed me in the street, I'd hardly notice. What news from Kent?
Nothing.
Nothing.
She probably can't afford it. Some better company.
Could you afford her? Just as much right as Lydia.
Lydia's been invited to go to Brighton with the fort.
Pa, don't let her go.
Lydia will never be easy until she's exposed herself in some public place or other.
She will be fixed forever as the silliest and most determined flirt who ever made her family ridiculous.
Lizzie, we shall have no peace until she goes.
Yes.
You care about. Mother, it's dangerous.
I am certain
This guy.
officers will find women better off. Teach her her own insignificance. Thus, you'd be obliged to lock her up for the rest of her life.
What are men compared to rocks and mountains?
Believe me, men are either eaten up with arrogance or stupidity. They have no minds of their own whatsoever.
Oh, take care, my love.
Did he mention Mr. Bingley?
No. No, he did not.
What a sight.
I think we're quite close to Pemberley.
Mr. Darcy's home.
That's the fellow. I've a hankering to see it.
Oh, no, let's not. Rather not. He's so... He's so hot. He's so rich.
Heavens, Lizzie, what a snob you are.
Yes.
The poor man can't help it.
He won't be there anyway. These great men are never at home.
Enter there.
Keep up.
Statues. Saying museum in there.
Mr. Darcy. A handsome face. Does the young lady know Mr. Darcy? Do you not think him a handsome man, miss?
Yes. Yes, I dare say he is.
She plays the piano really well. That's all.
Miss Elizabeth!
I thought you were in London.
No, I
We
came
were not
back
to
a
come
day
in,
early.
no,
Some
no.
business with my steward.
I'm in Derbyshire with my aunt and uncle. Tomorrow we go to Matlock.
Tomorrow? Are you staying at Lambton?
Yes, at the Rose and Crown.
Just tell him how you feel.
They said that the house was open for visitors. I had no idea.
May I see you back to the village?
No. I'm very fond of walking.
Yes, yes, I know.
Goodbye, Mr. Darcy.
Just met Mr. Darcy. Dine with him tomorrow. He was very civil, was he not?
Very.
To dine with him. There's something
Fine.
out his mouth when he speaks.
Okay.
Particularly wants you to meet his sister.
Miss Elizabeth!
My sister, Miss Georgiana.
My brother has told me so much about you. What a beautiful pianoforte. My brother gave it to me. He shouldn't have.
Yes, I should.
Oh, very well then.
My brother once had to put up with my playing for a whole evening.
But he says you play so well.
I said played quite well.
Oh, quite well is not very well.
Yeah.
Mr. Gardner, can I persuade you to accompany me to the lake this afternoon? It's very well stocked.
Play duets, Miss Elizabeth.
Only when forced.
Brother, you must force her.
What's going on?
It's the most dreadful news. Lydia has run away. Mr. Wickham. They are gone from Brighton to Lord knows where. She has no money, no... She's lost forever.
If only I'd exposed Wickham when I should.
No, this is my fault. Prevented all this merely by being open with my sister. My father has gone to London. We have not the smallest hope.
I will join Mr. Bennet and find Lydia before she ruins the family forever.
I always said they were unfit to take charge of her.
And now she's ruined.
You're all ruined. Take you now with a fallen sister.
Right.
And then Mr. Collins will turn us out before he's cold in his grave. Lydia must know what this must be doing to my nerve. How could she do such a thing to her poor mamma?
Don't do that.
Don't such a baby.
It's in Uncle's writing.
It's in Uncle's writing.
Good. They're married. £100 a year on her. That is Wickham's condition. £100?
That pounds.
No man in his senses would marry Lydia under so slight a temptation as 100 a year. Uncle must have been very generous.
He's a fool if he accepts less than £10,000.
10,000?
And at 15 too.
Ring the bell,
Captain,
Ricky.
yes.
I must thank our uncle, Mamma, and so he should help. He's far richer than us and has no children. A daughter.
Really all you think about?
Lydia, off my glove and let my hand just rest so she might see the ring. Then I bowed and smiled like an... I hope you have half my good luck.
Lydia. Hear every little detail, Lydia dear.
Right.
We travel there next week.
Can I come and stay with you?
That is out of the question.
I was in such a fuss. I don't want to hear.
There was my aunt. I didn't hear a word because I was thinking of my dear Wickham.
Lady
Away from the church and business, and I thought, who was to be up? He did come back, or I would have had to ask Mr. Darcy, but I don't really like
Mr. Darcy.
But I shouldn't have said a word. He was the one that discovered us. But don't tell anyone.
Yes, sense.
Mr. Darcy's not half as high-mighty as he is sometimes.
Your father, there didn't seem to be enough hours in the day.
There's nothing so bad as parting with one's children. One seems so forlorn without them.
Mr. Bingley is returning to Netherfield.
Mr. Bingley? No, I never want to see him again, no. We shan't mention a word about it. Is it quite certain he's coming? Mr. Bennet, the impudence of the man, I wonder he dare show his face.
I'm just glad he comes alone, because then we shall see less of him. But I dread other people's remarks. Oh, I'm sorry.
Bingley.
Everybody behave naturally. Darcy, the very insolence of it. What does he think of coming here? If you ever see sir, I'm sure I shall. Kitty.
Benny came.
Mary, sit down at once. Mary!
Mr. Darcy and Mr. Bingley, ma'am.
How very glad we are to see you, Mr. Bingley. Miss Lucas is married, and one of my own daughters, too.
Yes, I did hear of it. I offer my congratulations.
We transferred to Newcastle, wherever that is. I beg you will come here and shoot as many as you please.
Thank you.
Mr. Bennet will be vastly happy to oblige you.
Excellent.
Are you well, Mr. Darcy?
Quite well. I return to town tomorrow.
My Jane looks well. Does she not?
Does indeed. Well, we must be going, I think. Yes.
You must come again. For when you were in town last winter, you promised to have a family dinner with us.
I was going to say, sit down, feel...
It's him.
Oh, it's a disaster, isn't it? Miss Bennet.
It is indifferent acquaintances.
Oh, yes.
No, you cannot think me so weak as to be in danger now.
Danger of making him as much in love with you as ever.
Know that he came with Mr. Darcy.
Say that.
Look, it's him. He's back. He's come again.
But I would like to request the privilege of speaking to Miss Bennet.
Here we go.
Immediately. Except you, Jane, dear. Of course. It is so good to see you again so soon.
I must tell you I've been the most unmitigated and comprehensive ass.
Quiet.
Yes.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Thank the Lord for that. I thought it would never happen.
I'm confident they will do well together. They will be treated assiduously by their servants.
5,000 a year.
It glows with the warmth of sensibility.
Can you die of happiness? Totally ignorant of my being in town in the spring. How did he account for it? He thought me indifferent. If I could but see you so happy, if there was such a not man for you.
Collins has a cousin.
So, what?
Maybe he's changed.
It's coming down.
Lady Catherine.
This.
The rest of your offspring, I presume. You have a very small garden, madam.
Could I offer you...
So.
To speak to Miss Elizabeth Bennet alone.
Okay.
You can be at no loss, Miss Bennet, to understand why I am here. I am not to be trifled with. That you intend to be united with my nephew, Mr. Darcy. If possible, I instantly set off to make my sentiments known.
The impossible. I wonder you took the trouble of coming so far. Will be rather a confirmation, surely, if indeed such a report exists.
If industriously circulated by yourself.
I have never heard of it. You may ask a question which I may choose not to answer.
This is not to be borne. Let me be understood. Mr. Darcy is engaged to my daughter. Now what have you to say? You selfish girl. This union has been planned since their infancy, ended by a young woman of inferior birth in a scandalously patched-up marriage, only heaven and earth.
That should get her out.
Are you engaged to him?
I am not.
No.
Never to enter into such an engagement.
I will not.
Really?
They hid me in every possible way and get to leave immediately.
I've never been thus treated in my entire life.
Lizzie, for once in your life, leave me alone.
Benny coming.
Couldn't sleep.
Nora, my aunt.
Yes, she was here. And I suspect for Jane also it is I who should be making amends.
Surely you must know it was all for you. You are too generous to trifle with me. My aunt last night, and it has taught me to hope, as I'd scarcely allowed myself before. My affections and wishes have not changed. One word from you will silence me forever. However, your feelings have changed. You have bewitched me, body and soul. I love you. I never wish to be parted from you from this day.
Well then.
Shut the door, please, Elizabeth. You're out of your senses. I thought you hated the man.
Okay. Not really.
You no other objection than your belief in my indifference.
We all know him to be a proud, unpleasant sort of fellow. This would be nothing if you really liked him.
I do like him. I love him.
Yeah.
He's not
That's the word.
He's wrong.
What has he done?
I thought she didn't like him.
So did I. So did we all.
It'll be the first time, will it?
Nor the last, I dare say.
Must pay him back.
No, you mustn't tell anyone. He wouldn't want it. He's been a fool about Jane, about so many other things. He and I are so similar. We're both so stubborn.
You really do love him, don't you?
Very much.
That's nice.
Not to believe that anyone can deserve you. I heartily give my consent.
Okay.
Not have parted with you, my Lizzie, to anyone less worthy. Any young men come for Mary or Kitty, for heaven's sake, send them in. Quite at my leisure.
Only I wish you would not call me my dear.
Why?
Because it's what my father always calls my mother when he's cross about my pearl for Sunday. Goddess divine, but only on very special occasions.
Goddess divine.
And what shall I call you when I'm cross?
You may only call me Mrs. Darcy. Perfectly and incandescently happy.
Mrs. Darcy. Mrs. Darcy.
Finally, Zora directed this is another really good movie. If the slow below of the character, and they finally to get that ending. I like the writing of the song. The song, the music should be excellent. Like that's perfectly at the feeling of watching a movie. We should do more romantic films. This purely for reaction to be better than I was in this video by.